Hi, I'm Joshua.
And hi, I'm Chloe,
Welcome to the Musical Chairs podcast.
where we talk about, discuss, and review a musical every single week.
Yeah, so how are you?
I'm pretty good. I'm pretty excited because my birthday's next week.
Oh, yes, it is. Happy birthday next week.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm quite excited. I just am ready to turn 15, to be honest.
Okay, you're not 15 yet. I am.
I know. You're so much older than me.
Yeah,
But then
you're
again,
gonna halfway to
I'm
30.
gonna become a grandpa like
Yeah,
in the next week.
yeah. I already am.
I know, I was gonna say you already are.
I'm so old.
I know, you're so old. Imagine being as old as you. Goodness.
Well, you can soon.
I know, I will be soon. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Anyways, the musical we're doing this week is Rent. So
Yes.
the history, Rent, the is oh my god, is okay. I can't speak. I'm running
Fresh
on very
slate.
little sleep. Hold on. Okay. Rent is a musical with book, lyrics, and music all written by Jonathan Larson. It originally started off Broadway in 1993 and premiered on Broadway in 1996 through the same theater. It toured until 2016, finishing with the UK for the second time. Rent has received 4 Tony Awards, including Best Musical, 5 Drama Desk Awards, and has been nominated for multiple other various items. Then you have point 2. That's what you write in the notes.
What?
It says point 2.
I deleted it.
Okay,
There we
it's
go.
okay. It does. It's never was there. And the Rent movie came out in 2005, and it featured many of the original Broadway cast members.
Yeah, so basically what Rent is about is it's a rock opera styled show, and it shows the ups and downs of one year in the life of a group of destitute and artistic friends that struggle in the modern day East Village, New York. The story centers around two roommates. One's Mark, who's an aspiring filmmaker, and Roger, who's an aspiring musician. And Mark is trying to capture the year and the perspectives of his new friends through his attempts to make a film. And the group's dreams and personal struggles create an emotional story that displays New York City in the 1980s and the struggle of the HIV/AIDS uprise.
Mm-hmm. The cast for the film version, which is what we watched for the filmed
Mm-hmm.
Broadway version in 2008, was Mark Cohen, played by Adam Cantor, Roger Davis, played by Will Chase, Tom Collins, played by Michael McElroy, Benjamin or Benny Coffin III, played by Rodney Hicks, Joanna Jefferson.
I thought I fixed it.
What
It's
is it?
Joanne. I'm just
Joanne?
too Sweeney Todd
Okay.
right now.
Okay. Joanne. I was like, I don't remember Joanne. Okay. Okay. Joanne Jefferson, played by Tracy Toms or Thom.
Yeah,
One
I
of the two.
believe that's it.
Okay. Angel Dummett Schoonard, played by Justin Johnson. Mimi Marquez, played by Renee Elise Goldsberry. Maureen Johnson, played by Eden Espinoza.
Yay.
Got
And
through
then
it.
we're also gonna name the original Broadway cast since that's like the original, even though we didn't watch that one. Sorry if I mispronounce any names. Just viewer discretion. Mark Cohen is played by Anthony Rapp. Roger Davis is played by Adam Pascoe. Tom Collins is played by Jesse L. Martin. Benjamin Benny Coffin III is played by Taye Diggs. Joanne Jefferson is played by Freddie Walker. Angel Dumont Schoonard is played by Wilson Jermaine Heredia. Jermaine, sorry.
Jermaine.
Mimi Marquez is played by Daphne Rubin Vega, and Maureen Johnson is played by Indina Menzel.
Yes. Or as autocorrect likes, Indiana.
Oh, that was so bad. But we love you, Indina Menzel. We would never call you
Yes.
Indiana. I promise.
Just the Google, only Google Drive does.
Yep, exactly.
Google Drive's autocorrect does that.
Okay, so are there any actors in the cast that you admire, and why?
Okay, so whoops, my thing came out. Okay, so obviously for this whole thing, we're gonna talk about the the film 2018 cast because that's what we
Yeah.
saw.
Hmm.
But yeah, so one of them is, I mean, obviously Renee Elise Goldsberry, which she was in Hamilton as Angelica. Um, which because she Angelica and it's Mimi, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Mimi.
are like two completely different characters. They are not at all the
Hmm.
same. Like Angelica's really smart and like she knows what she's doing and she like knows about stuff. And Mimi is she like seductive and like
Yeah.
sexy in a way. And they're like
That's
two
true.
completely different characters that are not all the same. And
I know.
um and so and she does it so well and it's incredible.
Hmm. I would definitely say that because that just shows how like talented she
Yeah.
is. She was really like
And
obviously
she
her
was literally there's a
voice
part where she's like on like a balcony type thing and she's literally swinging on the bars while
while
singing
she's
and I'm
singing. I know.
and I'm just like
I'm like,
what?
hello.
And she's literally like upside down swinging on the bar and then like coming back up and
Oh,
like going through it and I was like what?
I know. She like I was like, wow, like that's like impossible. Like
Yeah.
um yeah, she was really good at like showing the difference between the two roles and like obviously this is kind of spoiler, but at the end when
The
she's like
progression. Yeah.
crying and like that's also good. Like
Literally dying.
I
She
know,
did
yeah.
so good with that. I was
I
so
know.
absolutely impressed.
Yeah, it was incredible. She's so talented.
Yeah.
She is so talented. Other than that, I mean like
And of
yeah,
course,
she would
everyone
probably
in the
be
cast is like
yeah,
so
everyone's
talented,
amazing.
obviously. But a
Yeah.
lot of the other ones I don't know much about.
Yeah, exactly. But like Renee is fantastic.
Absolutely
So
amazing.
yeah. And then who is your favorite character and why?
My favorite character. That's a good question.
I know, because it's kind of hard to choose. There's some good ones.
I like I'll say Mimi and Angel.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say too. I like Mimi because like, I really love watching like her progression.
Yeah.
I also like what's her name? Maureen, just because she's so
Oh,
like
yeah.
she's so like out there. Like
Angel's
I don't
also
know.
really because Angel for like a good majority is like dressed in drag.
Uh-huh.
And
Yeah.
so many witty remarks. It's so funny.
Uh-huh. And like I love her positivity as well, like throughout the
Hmm.
whole thing. That's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably those are my favorites out of everyone. Even though everyone's like great, except for
Yeah.
like Benny as a character, because he's just kind of annoying. But I mean, but other than that, everyone's great.
Yeah.
And if you could be cast in the musical, who would you want
If
to
I
be?
could be cast. That's huh. um maybe Angel. That seems like a fun thing to do.
Yeah, I think that would be good. I don't know. For me,
It's a very uh very energetic role. Yeah, you're like running around this. Running around the stage a lot.
yeah. Yeah, I don't know for me though. Like I don't know what I would do. Maybe I'd play Joanne if I could. I'd probably do that because I don't know. Mimi's a little bit sexual. Like I don't know. That's just a little bit.
Just a tad. And so is
And
what's her name?
Maureen.
Yeah.
Yeah, like she honestly would be fun to play with her whole like jump over the moon thing.
Yes.
But I mean, I'd
Her
probably
like
play
wasn't it
Joanne.
her like show thing that she did?
Yeah, her like protest or whatever.
Yeah.
Like that was funny.
Yeah.
But I mean, probably Joanne, because yeah. So, and then who would you recommend this musical to, and why?
Okay, so I was also thinking about a lot of the music isn't completely like I guess stereotypical musical in a way. It's
Mm,
really different. It incorporates a lot of more like what was it? what did you
It's like
say?
a rock
Rock. Yeah.
opera. Yeah,
Where it has
uh-huh.
like rock and stuff like that. And it's like it's very like, so I'd recommend to anyone that like is more into that, like into like, or like obviously trying to get into musicals or anything, that you could,
Mm-hmm.
because it like more of a, it has incorporates like obviously what the more, I guess, stereotypical musical stuff in it, but also more of what you're probably used to.
Yeah, I agree. I would recommend it to like people who are into that kind of thing because it does showcase a lot of that kind of style of music.
And then obviously anyone that's just into musicals,
Yeah, obviously.
it's a
And then
tad bit inappropriate at times.
yeah, I was gonna
So
say I
be aware of
definitely
that.
wouldn't.
Not like
Yeah,
little children.
not children. Yeah, definitely not children. I probably wouldn't recommend it to them, but like pretty much anyone else who like is mature
It's
enough
so
and
good.
likes musicals,
Yes. It's like
fantastic.
an hour and a half. No, it's like two and a
No,
half
no,
hours.
no. Yeah, it's just it's really good. I love the whole like it's a really
And
good
there's
like
like
friendship
there's like
story.
no song that I didn't like. I was like I was so intrigued like the whole time while watching it.
Yeah, and like it's like the whole thing is just like it's a really good like friendship story,
Yeah.
like great like showing of like
Ooh,
struggles
you're
and
blurry.
hello? Am I back?
No, you're back. You're leaving there. You're just a little, just a tad bit blurry, but it's okay.
That's so weird. What happened?
I don't know.
Okay, well anyway, yeah, it's really good. And speaking on that note, what would you rate it out of 10?
Probably like a 9 or a 10. I absolutely loved it. It was so good.
Yeah, I would probably rate it like a 9 overall. If I could like watch it again and really get into it, then probably like a 10
Yeah.
because it is pretty good. It was a little confusing as I was watching it for a little bit, but I mean, it gets
I mean,
better.
every
So
musical is a little, at least a little confusing at the beginning.
yeah.
Because you're trying to figure out who all the characters are.
Yeah, because they just kind of like jumped right into it. And I was just like,
Yeah.
oh, like but speaking of jumping right into it, spoiler alert, we're gonna be
Yes.
jumping right into this right now.
Hmm.
And you're going to experience spoilers if you move on and you haven't seen
Yes.
it yet. So if you
Yes. So
haven't, go
definitely
watch it.
watch it. There's obviously the film version. There's the movie. Apparently, I didn't even know the
Yeah.
movie existed until before we were recording. I was like, "There's a movie," and she was like, "Yeah, there's a movie." I was like, oh, "Okay."
Yeah, and there's also I'm sure there's got to be bootlegs somewhere. Or I mean,
Yeah.
slime tutorials online
Yeah.
somewhere.
But honestly, just watch the filmed one.
Yeah,
Because it's
it's
gonna be
really
good
good.
quality.
It is. It's fantastic quality, and it's filmed with an audience and intermission. So
The intermission is so long for no reason.
I know, like at least for the Hamilton, it was only like a minute.
Yeah, it
Like,
was a
but like
minute just
this
so you
one,
could probably like get up, like grab a snack or something. But it's literally 10 minutes long. Because I think
10 minutes,
they might have like actually put like the actual intermission or something. I don't know.
maybe. I don't
And I was
know.
just like, why is it so long? And I was like, why is it's so long for no reason?
I know. It was like forever. But I mean, it's kind of cool that they did that just so you can get like the experience or
Yeah, but I just
whatever.
skipped it.
Same. I did too. There was no reason to watch it. But I mean, um, yeah, go watch it. Make sure you have 2.5 hours of free time first, and then
Yes.
go
Or
watch it.
Chloe, you watched it in two halves, right?
Yeah, I did. I actually watched the first act on Saturday and the second act on Monday. So, yeah, it all depends on your schedule and what you have time for
Yes,
and
but
stuff
it's
like that.
very good. Highly recommend.
Hmm. Okay, so I guess we can just like jump right into it. What do you want to
Alright.
talk about first?
Okay, so one thing I want to talk about, the costumes. They have like a lot of them have like a lot of costume changes.
I know it's
And they're
it's
just
it's
like
good.
they're literally off stage and then come back and they're in something else. I'm like, what?
I know. Like they're really good at like demonstrating like that kind of like real life vibe
Yeah.
because and they also do a really good job of showing like the quality of the clothes. Like obviously they're
Yes, yeah, because
not
a lot of
rich.
them are
Like
kind of poor, and so they're
mhm.
like, in fact, it's the first song, literally is them like trying to figure out how they're gonna pay their rent, which is why it's called Rent.
Yeah. They do a really good job of that, and then obviously like first the characters, like they do really good job like demonstrating, like of course for Mimi, like all of her clothes are very like skin tight, very
Yeah.
like revealing.
It's even like the one that at the when she first comes in, where she's just like, light my candle.
Yeah.
And she's like, even that it looks sort of like, I think she tried to present herself in a way that like seemed a bit normal more in a way, but
Yeah.
even then it was still like, it was a really
Still,
like her skirt was super short, like literally she bent over and you could, her whole butt was hanging out. They literally zoomed in.
I know the way they zoomed in, I was just like, are you like serious right now? But yeah, that was kind of good. That was yeah, they do a really good job of doing that.
And then like the guy, what's his name?
Roger?
Sure.
The guy that like
Blonde
is
hair.
trying to write a song. Yeah.
Roger. Him. Like his outfit and like his like it represents him very well. And like it all just like, also, do you know artists his tattoos, I wonder if he like some of them were real or if like all of them were like they were all fake. That's what I wonder, because they look pretty real.
Yeah, they do look pretty real. I don't know, I have no idea. But yeah, they do a really good job of representing the character with their clothing, and also like you can kind of see like again like the whole like poor vibe, because they don't have like newer clothes, and they're not changing them every day either. So
some of the clothes just don't match.
Yeah, some of the clothes just don't go, but I mean
like they don't go together.
But yeah, it was a really good job.
The set is so cool.
It is really neat. It's really different. Like it
was really cool. I don't even know how to describe it.
I know. It's kind of like the same thing as Newsies in a way, I guess.
Kind of, but like not at all.
Bars, but like yeah, exactly. Like kind of the same idea, but also no, like not.
It kind of felt like the back alleyway of in between like two buildings.
And kind
I feel like that's the best way to describe it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it was like kind of like near their apartment most of the time.
Yeah.
But it just kind of like stayed kind of I can't talk. But it
yeah, they just brought in different props and stuff, but it was really cool. There was like the balcony type thing on top. There was like a tree for a little bit that was there.
Yeah, it was interesting. And like it kind of stayed the same.
Oh my god, do you know what? Okay, so you know that the one song where they're like all at this like, after I think Maureen's like thing that she like her thing that she does, like the over the moon thing, and then I think they all go to like some like place to like eat or something, and they're all like at a table. That reminded me of the Addams Family. Because it was just one long table and everyone sat on one side. Yes. And it was really chaotic. That was like a very chaotic musical number. And they all sat, which, well, we were both in, which you talked about before, how like, and during that we had to all sit on one side because obviously we couldn't just have our back facing the audience. And that just reminded me so much of the Addams Family.
Yeah, it was like full disclosure in another dimension.
Yes.
But yeah, that's La Vie Boheme.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a whole other thing going on right there.
Alrighty.
So it kind of just like starts with Mark and Roger like in their apartment.
Yeah.
And it kind of like sets the scene there, like the whole alleyway kind of thing.
And that they're very poor.
Yeah, definitely. Like talking about like how their heat might be turned off any minute or anything.
And like their lights and stuff and like.
Yeah. And then it's kind of talking about like it kind of sets the scene for the holiday season with the whole like Christmas songs that are happening somewhere in between there. And they kind of introduce us to like Roger, who's like trying to get this song together that he's been trying for so long.
Yeah.
And then Mark immediately starts with his filmmaking.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, that's the whole
yeah.
thing. He's trying to like make films and stuff, and so like the whole time he's always like
Mm-hmm.
he usually has a camera in with him, which
Uh-huh.
also represents like the time period, how like the type of camera he was using represented the time period and like
Yeah.
stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, which was also cool to see.
Yeah, and I kind of like, again, with the costumes, like it was a very like directory kind of costume that he
Yes,
had.
it
Like he had
was.
like
It
a
was.
scarf, like they did a good job of that. Um, and then he just like keeps on like filming, being like Roger doing this, writing a
Yeah.
song,
Watch him
and
do his thing.
yeah, and then it's like the phone rings,
It's
and
like watch
there's a
him play
bunch
the
of like,
guitar he hasn't picked up in a year.
I know, yeah. And it just kind of keeps doing that, and then eventually Benny's like, "Hey, I need next year's rent. What are you gonna do about it?" Like,
Yeah.
so, and then they start singing about how they're not gonna pay the rent that they can't afford.
Next
So,
year's?
or I mean, last year's,
You're
next
like, I need
year's.
it. You need to pay next year's rent right now. He's like, rent is due, and they're like, well, shoot.
Yeah, we don't have money. Because he kind of promised them that that wouldn't be a problem, like that they
Yeah.
could stay in this space without it
Mhm.
being a problem, and then it becomes a problem, and it's like,
Yeah.
oh. And then it's just like they sing about like their rent for a little bit,
Yeah.
and then it switches to like, no, wait, what happens in between there? Something happens.
I don't know. I can't think of it. But we could talk about the things like at the very beginning, how like one of the things is his like mother leaves a voicemail for him.
Oh
Uh,
yeah, yeah, the voicemails are pretty cool.
yeah, I like the voicemails. And it's just and he just like trying to come for him, and then just like your ex dumped you for a woman, haha.
I know. And that's when we find out that Maureen was his ex.
Yeah.
So, and then there's a second voicemail in between like all this madness. I don't know when it happens, but it's somewhere. It's somewhere. There's different kinds of like, one thing that's really cool about the songs is that there's like multiple different types. Like it's like
Yeah.
tune up 1, tune up 2, tune up 3, or like La Vie Boheme B, and like
Uh-huh.
all that stuff. It's kind of interesting how they do that,
Yeah.
because it is like an opera, and it kind of
Uh-huh.
is broken up like that.
Yeah. Because
So
there's not a lot of it is sung. Like there's
like a lot of it.
like there's obviously there's dialogue and
Mm.
monologues, but most of
Yeah.
it is sung, and it's very good.
Yeah, it is really good. It's really well done. And then I feel like I remember something about like Tom Collins just like being beaten up or something.
Oh
Like,
yes, yes, yes. Yeah,
yeah,
I remember that.
yeah, there,
And
yeah,
then
and then
afterwards, I think after the song Rent finishes, and then he's
yeah,
like on like
hmm
limping, and that's when Angel's like, "Hey."
yeah, and then he like tends to him, talks
Yeah,
about like
and then they have like an immediate like chemistry, like
connection. Yeah,
immediately
uh-huh,
with like
yeah,
3 seconds.
within like immediately, like you said, like it happens like right away,
In an
like
account.
in an account. And they just kind of like tend to each other, and again like have that immediate connection that
Yeah,
goes
which then
on.
they end up getting together later, obviously.
Yeah, honestly, get together like on the second, like that's you kind of like
They're like
already knew
basically
that was,
kissing each other.
yeah. um and then and then there's like another thing where um Mark is like doing a filming thingy of Roger again, and
Yeah.
then it's revealed that like his former girlfriend actually committed suicide because they both discovered that they both had HIV. And that's something that's very
Yeah.
common in the whole musical. Like almost like a lot of people have it
Mm-hmm.
in the whole thing. Which kind of shows, it's kind of interesting to see that like time period and how
Yeah.
that went on and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
and then he's again trying like really talking about like his struggle to write this song
Mm-hmm.
and to be like remembered by it. Because you can definitely tell that he's not in the best mental state.
Yeah.
So
Definitely not.
yeah. No, he's fine. He's
No, he's
definitely
great.
fine. There's
He's
nothing
completely
wrong
fine.
with
There's
him.
nothing wrong with him at all. I don't know what you're
I
talking
know.
about.
Yeah, he's the happiest person alive right now.
Alive,
Like
yeah.
obviously.
No one could be
hmm
happier, honestly.
No one could.
Never
Not
seen
even
anyone
like
happier.
nope. Yeah, definitely. And then like soon after that, Mimi comes in.
Yes, with Light My Candle,
hmm
which we didn't talk about favorite songs, did we?
No, we never
Okay, well,
did.
this is one that I really like.
Yeah, I really like this one too. It's one of my favorites.
Yes. I also
Um,
like Tango Maureen.
oh
I
yeah,
really like
that
that
one's
one.
fun.
That's one of my favorites too. I just really liked how that one sounded and how like just behind what was behind it and stuff. Yeah, we'll get into that in a little bit. Yeah. Yeah, Lemon Candle Mimi's like she's like, "Hey, my heat was turned off and you should light this candle."
Yeah, I need some help lighting my candle.
Cuz I don't have a
So
lighter.
yeah, and then she just kind of like shows up, but it's more than just lighting her candle. Like she's like literally
Yeah,
trying
she's
to
like
like
flirting with him and stuff throughout the whole thing. Then also it shows her first like thing where she just seems like poor like everyone else obviously, but she's also
Mhm.
like wearing like tight clothes with like a really like little tiny skirt that like just barely
Yeah.
covers enough. And then
Mm-mm.
it's funny and then she's like and she's like she blows her candle out and she's like light it. It blew
I
it
know.
came
She's like,
out.
uh-oh, the wind. Light it again. And then
Yes.
it just like it continues. And she's like, I left my cash here. Not my cash, my stash or whatever
Yeah.
she said. And then
And then
and then
she
she
comes
like
back in
bends
like
down.
like crawling on the floor with her
I
butt as
know.
high in the air as it can go.
I know. And then she continues that just continues to go on and Roger's
Yeah.
like, "No, I don't want this. Like I don't need this right now."
Yeah.
Um and it's just like it's kind of she continues to
Also,
be like, "Could you
let
light
me
my candle?"
let me talk about what her character's 19, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
hmm
Renee Lee Goldsberry at this time, she was probably in her like I think late 30s because she's like 50 now. She has not aged. She does not.
No.
Yeah, she is
She is
50.
not
She's
50.
50. Renee Lee Goldsberry does not age. She looks the exact same. She looks like the tiniest. She looks like maybe like 5 years older.
What? Oh
Yeah.
my. Hold on. I'm like looking at this right now because this is like in the 2020 film she does not look different.
Yeah.
Like in the Rent, you could kind of hear how she sounds younger, but
Yeah.
look
I mean,
wise,
she looks the tiniest bit younger in Rent, but it looks like maybe like 5 years younger. Like not at all like that much. But yeah, she's like, and I'm just like, pop off.
she is 50. No
Yeah.
way.
She's
I can't
like,
believe this.
I
No.
know. It's crazy. I'm just like, she looks great. Renee, you're not listening, but on the 0.2 chance that you are, you look great for your age. You look like in your 20s or 30s.
She's like the youngest looking at for her age that I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Like, oh my gosh. I can't believe like I am in like shock right now. Like I cannot believe this fact.
And she's kept her voice up great.
No way. She can't. She's lying. What is going on? This is not correct. It is incorrect. I can't believe this right now. Like I can't. Renee, please. I can't believe like I literally don't believe this right now.
But yeah, but she
She
does
does not
great.
look 50.
But yeah,
She looks like she's like 20.
I know.
What is going on? This is a lie. We are being lied to. This is crazy. I'm sorry. I'm blown away. But anyway, I thought she was like 30 right now.
I know,
like,
so did I.
I can't. Anyway.
But no, she was like in her
yeah.
30s while doing Rent probably.
Wow. Yeah, that's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Oh, sorry.
But yeah, so Light My Candle finishes, and they're just like, that's their relationship kind of starts. Not really. It's like
Yeah.
their relationship the whole time is kind of up in the air.
Yeah, it's like on again, off again kind of relationship.
Really.
And then it switches, like we kind of just like, it just kind of like switches after that. And then it talks about like Joanne, like, but there's another voicemail going on where Joanne receives her.
They also have answering
like a voicemail
machines
from her parents. Yeah.
Which again shows the time that they're in, that they have answering
period.
machines.
Yeah, I love all the voicemails from the parents. Like it also kind of shows like their different like relationships with their parents as well. Like this one,
and also brings into like the backstory of the characters too, and like what's going on with them.
Yeah, they did a really good job of being able to show that, because it's kind of like just kind of a really good way to show how that, like, what, like other pieces of them other than just themselves. And then obviously like her parents are just like talking like nonstop, just being like, this is what we're doing, how are you, what are you doing, come here, like stuff like that. And then after that it switches to like all of them back into their apartment. And by all of them I mean Mark and Roger, and then by all of them, the two of them, like I literally can't talk.
Every single character, aka these two.
Everyone, meaning Mark and Roger. And then Collins and Angel enter, and and Angel's now in drag. Like when she first appears, she's not, like, just kind of
and also there's times throughout where no drag, but for mainly she's in drag.
Yeah, it's awesome. And then it just like she starts telling the story about like the money she makes and how like she made it by like literally killing a dog. I feel like it was also the same like Benny's dog. Like
I think it was because he was like, I think she ran over the dog. He's like, I hated that dog.
Yes, I remember that now. Oh my god. Oh, that was funny.
They were like, you realize you're paying for the funeral for the person that ran over your dog. It's like, yeah, I hated that dog.
I hated that dog. I wonder, the poor dog. Like
what did the dog do? Dog.
I know.
But yeah, it's a fun number that also shows Angel's personality so much, and like also the relationship between Collins and Angel. Like it's like their relationship they have a great relationship throughout the whole thing.
Fantastic.
They're like the only couple that isn't having relationship problems.
I know. They're just like solid throughout the whole thing.
Yeah.
Like they have no problems.
Which is sad, spoiler. I mean, obviously spoiler, that Angel unfortunately dies later.
Yeah.
He's like the one relationship that's going well.
I know.
It's so sad. I was almost crying during that.
I know.
Like my eyes were like watering up. It was so sad. But yeah, we'll get into that a lot more later.
Like all of a sudden, like, yeah, I'll talk about that later. But anyway, yeah, and then Benny again, guess what he brings up? The rent, of course. And he brings it up again, and he talks about, so then we find out that Maureen's doing a protest against like the parking lot being taken away from the homeless, and like the performing space kind of. And then Benny starts talking about like, if you can prevent her from doing this protest, then I will completely cancel
like
your
give you free rent. You can just live here completely free.
Yeah. And then they were like, well, no, we don't really want to do that.
Yeah. We're just like, that's a crazy offer. That's just like,
I know,
just a little protest. It's like, it's just by herself pretty much, just her doing a little performance, and he'll just give them free rent. Like what?
I know. I know. It's a crazy.
And then they said, why don't you just get like the police or something involved? It's like, I did. They're on standby. And I was like,
I know.
Okay.
Like they literally could just be like, hey, you got to stop this. And then they could get free rent.
Yeah.
Like that would be crazy. That would be crazy.
Imagine if it didn't even have to convince her, like, hey, you should not do it. She said no. They're like, okay.
Okay. And then it kind of like this musical, like it's great, but it's again like all over the place. Like it constantly
Yeah.
switches different points of view, which is great also because it kind of shows like
But it all comes
their life.
together. Yeah.
Yeah, it all comes together. And then Mark ends up meeting Joanne for the first time
Who
on
is
stage.
because Maureen was his ex, and
Yeah.
now Maureen is dating Joanne. So they're kind of like, it's obviously kind of
It's like,
awkward
yeah, a little awkward. But
because
then they
she's setting
bond.
up for like, yeah, they're
Yeah,
like
they like
setting up
bond
for stuff.
over it.
And they're
Because
bonding
they're
over
like,
just how Maureen is kind of like not great, really.
not the greatest, kind of untrustworthy.
Yeah. Which is honestly, this
Um,
is one of my favorite songs. But yeah. And so like they're just talking about like how she just like one of the things they said, it's like, does she ever like swoon over guys? And she was like, more than swoon. And like it's just like, and it's just like crazy how like she's like not fully into it, the relationship.
the conversation.
Just the conversation.
Same thing.
Yeah. And how
Um,
just like she's constant, and like they're all both, and like what's her name, Joanne, is like still kind of like not like realizing it at the time, and then
yeah.
Mark just brings all of it up, and she's like, oh, voice
Yeah.
crack. She's just like, oh, you're right. All these things come,
Yeah.
and then one of the things, like, has she ever called you Pookie or something?
Yes.
And then she's like, no, she's never called me that. And literally the song like almost ends, and she like calls her on the phone, and she calls her Pookie, and she's like, you've never called me Pookie.
I know, and then she continues to do it throughout the rest of the musical, which is how you can kind of tell. And then they get into an argument later, but I mean, they're so like on again, off again kind of thing, just like Roger and Mimi. And then after that,
also they the whole thing, they're like tangoing throughout the whole thing, and then they're like, they're just like, which is really good. It was choreographed great. And then they also sing great during it. And then there's I forget how Mark learned it, but they're like, Joanne, it's like, how did you learn how to do it? She was like, I learned it in like some like girls like basement. I don't remember what it was. Do you remember like what she said? It was
I
like,
can't remember.
It was funny, whatever it was. But it was like, I saw it in like
funny.
A girl's basement or something like that, and it was just like, I wish I remember it, but it was really funny.
I know, same. It was really funny. And it is kind of awkward, but it's like they kind of bond over this whole like Maureen thing. And then after that, it kind of switches again to the an HIV support. I was gonna say a life support group, but like an HIV support group.
The song is called Life Support.
That is true, yeah.
And like the whole thing is because throughout they're like, it's life support. That's what they call it throughout the whole time.
That is true. So I was kind of right on the scale.
Yeah.
But, and they start like kind of singing all these different songs, like supporting each other and talking about how there is no day but today. Like there's no better day than today, because you never really know when one could die of AIDS. Yeah. So that's kind of, it was really positive. It was kind of like sentimental too. Yeah, and then Mimi barges into Roger's apartment again.
Well, doesn't she like? Wait, was this now or later? Where she like has like, she's like half half ready, and is this the part where she's like swinging on the bars, or is that later?
Yes, it is.
Yes. So before she barges in, she's like, she comes out and like she comes out like a kimono, and like her like hair up, like makeup done, and like she's like throughout the whole thing she like takes it off, and we see like a very revealing outfit like underneath, and she like, and the whole time she's just like she's just like transforming to like how she like is and how like sexual she is, and it was really, again with Renee, very different to see Renee very in that kind of way.
Yeah, it was interesting.
Yeah, and then she just barges into like Roger's apartment, and she's like, we should go out.
Yeah, I love that she did, because
they both
really
like sort of have a thing with each other.
Yeah. But like Roger really denies it. He's like, nope, nope.
We won't. She's just like, well, why?
Like, why not? Like, and again, she kind of brings up that whole no day but today thing again. through the whole thing because she's like, well, why not now? Like, why are you waiting?
Yeah.
What are you waiting for? um,
Yeah.
and
Oh my
that's kind
god,
of the
which
whole
brings
thing.
back to her, again, spoiler, like half death because she dies, right? But then she
Yeah.
like comes back
Uh-huh.
to life, which is we'll talk more about later, which is like so sad, but like
Crazy.
it was
Yeah.
we'll talk about that. But like which goes back to
Hmm.
like why not do it now, which is like how it's like and then
Yeah.
that happens, and then it's like, well, now we have to really appreciate what happened because if she like did die then it would have
And
been over.
yeah. Hmm. That's the whole like theme of the musical. Like again, like never really like appreciating life because you never really know when it could
Yeah.
end. That is such a like such an interesting statement. Like we could die right now.
Yeah.
Like I could just be like and die. Except not like that, of course. I don't, at least I don't think. But she did a really good job with the song because the song was
Yes.
like one of those crazy like belty songs. Like she
While
did
she's
really,
literally like
really.
like
I
on the bar, like
know.
the upside down going through the like this is like
I
it was like
know.
those like fences that are made out of just like metal like poles that are like stacked on top of each other in a way, and she was just like going
Yeah.
through them, and I was like
It was crazy. It was like, especially when she was singing, because like
then she
imagine
was also
singing
like
upside
hanging, yeah,
down.
and then she was just hanging by her legs pretty much on it
I
at some
know.
points.
I know. Like imagine singing again, like upside down. Like that's so uncomfortable. Like
Uh-huh.
it's so hard too. But like applause to her because
Yes.
she did so good with that. Um and then Roger gets kind of like upset about it. And
Yeah.
then they kind of like have a little argument
Yeah.
and he again is like denying his feelings for her
Yeah.
even though like you can kind of tell he has something for
Yeah.
her,
Oh yeah,
but he
definitely. You
just
can really tell.
yeah.
But like he just like, nope, I have no feelings. Nope, no, 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 no.
Yeah, because again, like because he knows he has AIDS, and he knows that like
Yeah.
his girlfriend had AIDS too, and it's just kind of like traumatic experience for
Yeah.
him. Um, but then they find out they both have AIDS later, so it's just kind of like, oh, well,
All
that
right.
works.
Everyone has it.
And yeah, everyone, why don't we all just um but and then it kind of transitions to the support group again, and
Hmm.
they call I can't they all kind of like reflect on like their fears of dying, and like will they lose their dignity, and like will someone
Yeah.
care, and that whole
Hmm.
thing again with the whole like dying, they don't know like when they're going to die,
Yeah.
and they want to be remembered, and that's the whole thing
Which
they're
brings back
worrying
to
about.
Angel when he dies later. He's like, everyone, that the speech that like everyone says like individually is so great.
And like especially
And like everyone remembers him. It's like
yeah,
remembers, it's like they're so positive and always looking on the bright side and saying like
I
like always
know.
get through stuff. It was great.
Yeah, because honestly, like he was kind of like the glue of the group, because after
Yes.
that they all just kind of
Fell
like
apart.
fell apart. Yeah. um and then uh they kind of like transition again, and it's about to go to is it about to go to the protest, or did no, that didn't already happen, but
No,
for
that
some
hasn't.
reason I felt like it did. But
That's it's in a little bit. It's in a while.
okay.
Look, it's like
um
five or like six songs down.
okay. And then there's like this whole kind of thing, I like it starts to get a little blurry for me here, like the beginning and some of the middle and the end all make
Yeah.
sense, but there's some parts where I'm like, what? Like
Yeah,
I don't
we
remember
should
them.
definitely watch it again. But yeah.
I agree. I think like from here, I feel
It
like
says
okay,
on the
so
street.
oh yeah, on the streets next, and then it's from here. It's like Mark, Angel, and Collins all are in the parking lot, and then oh yeah, this was kind of crazy because the woman kind of like blew up on them,
Yeah.
like because they were gonna like rescue a homeless person from police brutality,
Uh-huh.
but then she was like, I don't need you, because she was like she was thinking that since Mark was filming it, it was only for his like
Yeah.
motives, And yeah, it was a really powerful moment.
Yeah. It's like, why was he filming it? Just like, calm down.
I know.
You could just
Yeah.
not.
Just not film, like, not this moment. Stop filming for 1 second.
Yeah.
But he really wanted to capture like the whole aspect of life, I guess. And then after that, it moves on to, well, they're all kind of still hanging out together, and they all like start fantasizing about this restaurant that they want to open up in Santa Fe. I was thinking of Newsies during that.
So was
like,
I.
Because like the whole Santa Fe like fantasizing thing. And they start like talking about it and escaping New York City, because like, again, like New York City is very like a very high charging city.
Yeah.
So they could move somewhere else where it would be like a little more affordable. And yeah, that's the one thing that would be bad. Like if we ever moved to New York, it would be so expensive.
Yeah,
like,
it's really expensive.
Yeah,
to live there.
Definitely a con. But and then they Mark leaves. I can't remember why he leaves, but he leaves. And this is kind of when Collins and Angel are kind of like confessing their love to each other.
Yeah, even though we've known the whole time.
Yeah, everyone's known. Like, like I thought they were already dating before.
So did me too.
Were officially dating, and I was just kind of like, oh.
They basically were.
They practically were. Like,
yeah, they confess their love for each other, and then they'll say like, they like. What was it like? One of them wanted to move in. It's like, you can pay me back with 1,000 kisses.
Yeah, that was so sweet.
Yeah, which is something that's brought up again later
in the sad times.
Yes.
But they're just basically talking about how they're always going to be there for each other.
Yeah,
it's really sweet, very sentimental. And then it kind of switches again to Joanne being like overwhelmed by like, she was literally like having one phone over here and like the other being like,
yes, like, this is, I actually really like this song too. I really liked how like, because she was like calling one person, like, I'll talk to you later, bye. And then she was like,
I know that takes talent. It's like multitasking at once. Like,
which that reminds me of Call Back in the Morning from Little Shop.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking of too.
How like they have like a few phones, and they're all just like, they're like picking up different ones, like putting them down, like saying like, you want this? Okay. And you want this? All right. And it's literally like going through a bunch of different stuff.
Yeah, because it's definitely difficult because she's not actually on the phone with those people. So she has to like know which one to set down, who to say what to, like all that stuff.
Definitely.
But yeah, she's overwhelmed because she's trying to like handle all these different things. Yeah. And then the protest is coming up, and all the homeless people start like preparing for it and like talking about their struggles. They sing like
Christmas songs, except like different versions of it, somewhat inappropriate, some of them. So yeah, but they're pretty funny. But yeah, so they're just pretty much, they're very negative too.
Yeah, very negative
while singing these Christmas songs.
I mean, I could see why, because they're like homeless and they're struggling right now. But yeah, it is very negative. It kind of shows like what they're going through, I guess. And then the protest happens.
Yeah, this is such a fun song.
I know. I was thinking
you're literally, when like we got onto the call before we started filming, literally the first you went over, like really, like the first thing you did was started singing that.
I didn't even recognize that I did that.
Yeah.
But like I was expecting this protest to be some like little like serious thing, like really just like well organized, like put together thing. But it's literally like a performance about Hey Diddle Diddle, the nursery rhyme, talking about like the cow jumping over the moon. It is. It's so creative too.
It's like, so that's one of the like best parts of the show. It's so funny and like, and also like how it's not, how like there's parts where she goes like, where there's like, she has like a background vocal thing. And so, but because of it, she has to like click on her computer to do it. And there's one part where her arms are in the air And so she's like, oh, crap. And then she gets her foot and like touches her computer until it turns on.
I remember I literally loved how she would like be like, I can't remember exactly what she would say, but she would like talk into the mic and it would like echo.
Yeah.
It was so funny. It was so funny. It had a really good it seemed like nonsensical, but at the same time
Yeah.
it had a point.
Mhm.
So yeah, it really does a good job of showing like Maureen. Like I was thinking Maureen was just gonna be like this like
And this is like her
normal person.
seeing her. Like we've heard of her
Hmm.
briefly and we know a bit about
But
her.
we've
This is the
never
first time.
seen her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so this is the first time we get to
And
see her.
yeah, and I was not expecting it. Like I
Yeah.
was not ready.
But I love her character, so funny.
I know, and so like out there too.
Which
Like,
later, I think it's in La Vie Boheme, right? Where she like just
yeah.
pulls her pants down. She's just like
I know.
pulls her pants
I
down
was
and
just
shows
like,
her butt and then
hello?
just puts it back up. And I was like, oh my God, okay. Okay.
I was not ready for that
I
either.
wasn't
I was
ready
just
for
like,
it either.
I like gasped. I was like, hello? Like what just happened? Yeah, and I think La Vivo M just like comes up right after this
Yeah,
because
they all like meet up at a cafe and stuff, and they're all like,
yeah.
they talk about pretty inappropriate stuff.
Yeah.
And just like their way of living. And
Yeah, and they all kind of like just like celebrate it in a way, even
yeah.
though it's not the best
And
way
one
of
of the things
living.
that shows later with Tango Maureen, how like they're saying how she's kind of not great, how she literally like
Yeah.
kisses another girl in front of Joanne, and Joanne's just
I
like,
know.
what?
Like hello? Like what is happening? In which they get into it later because
Yeah.
she's tired of it.
Yeah.
But they start like
This
doing
is
this
such a
whole
fun
like
song too. I
celebration
really
thing.
like this song.
It's crazy, but it's like full disclosure in another dimension. Like
Yeah, another
saying.
dimension, and like it's really fun, but it's super hectic. And
yeah, it is kind of hectic. And then kind of in the middle of that, Mimi and Roger are kind of like going through their stuff, and they both find out that they both have AIDS.
yeah.
So it's just kind of like, oh, well, that works. And they decide to progress their relationship.
Yeah.
And then there's another Love Evo M.
Yeah.
And there's a lot going on in this. Like I don't know. It's kind of hard to decipher.
Yeah.
And it eventually starts talking about how like their Mark and Roger's like apartment was padlocked.
Oh.
And then they have like a riot in the parking lot. Like it's crazy. But it's just like they all like celebrate, rejoice, and then that's how the first act ends.
Yes.
So, yeah, first act was a little bit confusing, but ultimately was pretty good.
Yeah.
So I like the second act better though, even though it's kind of sad.
It's sad,
but
it's
think
like
I like it better.
Yeah. Then
you can do it. I believe in you.
Act 2 starts off with Seasons of Love, which is like the song that like everyone at least has heard from Rent. Which like if you're into music, you've definitely heard the 525,600 minutes. Like you've definitely heard it if you're into musicals like at all. Like it's from Rent. This is the song that like everyone knows.
Everyone knows, yeah.
Which is such a great song, honestly. Like I've never like fully listened to it, but it's really great. And then there's one of the like homeless ladies. She's like the main like singer in it. Absolutely incredible.
So good. So good. With her like high belts and
yes. Incredible.
It's a really good song. Like it's like just like really well put together.
Yes, which is brought up a few times.
It's kind of one of those like musical themes again.
And it's just measured in love. It's about love basically.
Yeah. And like kind of like celebrating their year that has gone so far. And then it's just like now it's the New Year's, which is kind of like why they're celebrating their new year, like past year, I guess. New year, I can't talk. But and then they end up breaking back into their building, and that's kind of like a celebration. They have kind of like a party for it because they broke back into the building. But they celebrate the new year together, and they're all kind of celebrating. And then Mark actually finds out he could have a job offer
Yes.
because of his direct. Sorry. Anyway, yeah, the new year starts to continue, and they have like a little celebration for it, and he actually finds out from his mom about the job offer.
Yes, with the voicemails.
Mm-hmm. And they keep celebrating this new year, and then sometime after this, the big argument begins between Maureen and Joanne. I was like forgetting her name for a second. And it's actually, I feel like I've heard this song before. I feel like I've heard it somewhere. I don't know where, like when. I don't know why, but I feel like I did, because it's the whole take me or leave me kind of thing. Like I feel like I've heard that. But they start talking, they start like arguing, and Maureen's
brings up like the stuff where it's like kissing like other girls and just stuff, and like not fully paying attention. She's like, well, I'm hot, so people are always gonna want to kiss me. And she's like, what?
She like justified it.
Yeah. And it was just like, oh, excuse me?
I know. It was crazy. And yeah, they have a whole fight, and then they like Maureen's like literally justifying her actions, like justifying it. And I think they're like, well, this is over. But they do end up getting back together, I think.
Yeah.
So
they do.
Again, the whole
they get back together and break up every 3 seconds.
I know. It's kind of problematic, but it's also kind of like a part of the whole thing. Then after that, there's a second Seasons of Love. Yes. Why does that happen? I forget why that happened.
Don't remember.
Me either.
I remember it happening.
Yeah. It did happen when. Oh, so it's not. I don't know. Can't remember. Because I was gonna say like maybe it's because of Angel's death, but no, that doesn't happen for a little bit.
Yeah.
Hold on, I can pull this up really quick because I can't remember why it happened.
We figured it out.
So we figured it out. Apparently it's just like showing time progression.
Yeah, so that's probably why there wasn't a huge significance behind it. It's probably why we didn't remember. We're just like, what?
Yeah, I was like, there was a second one? Like, hello?
I remember there being a second one.
Yeah, I remember because it's a big theme of the musical, but I had no idea why. And then we kind of find out that Mimi is starting to like become addicted to heroin.
Yeah.
And that's kind of not good.
Which leads to her like sort of death at the end. There's like a huge thing, and like she gets like later, and then she gets like she gets like really weak, and like she even like looks weak. Like it's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And, like, Renee does a great job portraying it too.
Yeah,
just like acting so much different from what she was before.
I know, it's crazy. It was like real. Like, it was crazy. And they we also find out that she was actually dating Benny at one point, and I think their relationship just kind of like rekindled all of a sudden.
Yeah.
And
she doesn't like him that much is the thing.
Yeah. But she's, again, the whole like drug usage thing has just kind of like turned her life around.
And I think because she's using drugs, like I think he can like pay for it.
Yeah, that makes sense. Because Roger doesn't really have the money to do that.
Yeah. So. And then I think it's later, but doesn't she like eventually go to like rehab, but like, or like tries to go to rehab, but then she like ends up not. Yeah. And like they find her like in like a park or something.
Yeah, and she's like literally almost dead.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then time keeps going on, and then by the end of summer, Mark is continuing to receive voicemails about his job offer at the Buzzline thing, and then it just it kind of switches, and then you know that song. This song is not the most appropriate song. So but it's basically just about like their sexual lives and
Yes.
what's going on in that.
Yeah.
I skipped it
I'm just
because
gonna. I watched
yeah,
it. It
we're
was
just
very
gonna
sexual.
yeah, I watched a little bit of it and I was like, probably shouldn't have Callie watching this. So yeah, I skipped it. But and then it's just crazy because all of a sudden Angel just like
I
he
know
literally just
it's really
it's so
crazy. Also, at
sudden.
the very end of it, they're all like mad at each other. That's at the
Yeah,
very end of
they
like
all start arguing.
yeah.
Yeah.
But then it goes to Angel comes out like with
They
completely
literally
like
break
white
up.
clothes. Like
Hmm.
white clothes completely, and he just kind of like walks off. Which also wasn't he earlier, he was he was like, wasn't he like coughing on a bench earlier or something? And like, what song was that in?
Oh, I don't remember. Hold on. Let me see. I don't remember.
Is it
This
Without
seems
You?
so unprofessional, but it might be. It might
I
be.
think it's because I remember isn't that song like
Oh yeah, it
it's
says
centered around
yeah,
Mimi and what's his name?
Roger.
Yeah, Mimi and Roger, but then also had the other two couples in it too, just like in the background.
Hmm. And and then
And then
Collins
showed
is just like
him like coughing and like very weak.
yeah.
Um,
He was not. I was so confused. I was like, what happened?
I
Because it
know.
was so sudden, and I
Yeah,
was like, wow, like it was crazy. It was so sad though.
it was so.
And then
But yeah,
yeah, they all get kind of like they kind of like break up, but then they kind of like come back together to celebrate like his funeral.
yeah, in
Not
his
like
life.
celebrate his
No,
funeral.
like
That
his
sounds so
life.
sad.
Celebrate his life.
Yeah. Yeah.
But they all
Um,
they all have their own little short monologue about like about him, and they were so like so sad. Like it was so. I'm trying to like I literally like all what they said went away, but it was just like it
I
was.
know.
There was like he was always like the one that like brought the group together and was like, oh, I know what it was. He was. It was like she was so lucky. She said she was always so lucky to have us in their group, but it's like, but really, we were the lucky ones.
Yeah, and during
Which I think this is
Mark's
what
monologue.
Maureen said. I think.
Yeah, I think I remember that. But during Mark's monologue, he referred to Angel as he, and
Uh
then
huh.
he changed it because
Yeah.
which was I thought
For the
was really
drag.
respectful.
Yeah.
And yeah, and that was really good. And they all kind of like it's all really sentimental, but then Collins, he has like a big
Yeah.
moment
Because obviously,
because
because they were like dating the whole time and like in love. And the also sad part is the whole time in the back, Angel's like walking in the back, and
no,
it's so sad. And
it was horrible. It
yeah,
was just which really just goes to show like that again, you should live life while you can to the
yeah,
fullest because you never know.
and also appreciate it and not like.
Yeah. Mhm. And then they're all just kind of like celebrating it and then they all kind of just like fall apart after
Yeah,
that.
because
And
he
but
was the
Mark
main thing,
and
like keeping
yeah.
everyone together.
Mhm. And then now Mark is kind of scared because he died and like he knows like all of his other friends have AIDS. So
Yeah,
he's like, am I gonna be the only one left? Like, am
yeah.
I yeah, and then I don't remember what song that was, but I remember he was talking about it for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, I just keep yawning. Like I did not get good sleep last night.
Me neither.
I don't know. Um anyway, he talks about that for a minute and I think he was going to accept well I feel like he I don't know it was kind of confusing because I feel like he accepted the job offer and then like denied it or
Yeah,
something like
I
he
think
took
something
it
like
up
that happened.
but then he was like he gave it up. I feel like that happened
Yeah,
but I don't
he threw away
remember
his
if he
shot.
ever actually took it. Yeah, he threw away his shot. um and then Roger he's like guess what, I'm leaving, I'm gone,
Yeah,
and he decides that he's going to leave. And then Mimi's like, what are you doing? Like,
yeah,
why are you leaving? And then he ends up like going away. I remember something about them saying like
And
he
this is when they
sold his
first find out that
guitar.
Mimi was like, oh yeah, he's like he sold his guitar for like a place or something. I don't remember what exactly. Or like
For
no, he
like
sold
a
his guitar for a
car.
car. That's what it
Yeah.
was.
Uh-huh.
So he was
Mm-hmm.
just gonna I think he was just gonna live in his car and like go somewhere else. And then this was when we find out that Mimi is like very weak too.
Yeah, like not good.
And then this is when they're like
And
she trying to get her into rehab.
yeah. But they were like trying to say like, yeah, you should get help.
Yeah.
And then oh goodness, what happens
It's
after
that because
that?
she's in
I'm
like a
trying
really
to like
low
remember
state
the
and like
event.
the person she loves is just leaving.
I know, just leaving. And like even though she's kind of with with but not with,
Ish. Yeah.
yeah, she really just did not want Roger to go. But
Yeah.
he ends up going. So
Yeah.
um and then oh goodness. And then I feel like Maureen and Joanne have another argument
Yeah.
somewhere in there,
Mm-hmm.
having an argument about their relationship for some
Yeah.
reason. Well, for some reason. Well, there's an obvious reason, but like it's just like
Yeah.
it just keeps continuing.
Yeah.
And it's so hard to remember what happened because it's such a long musical
Yes. Yes.
that it's just like, oh, like it's not one that I like I was never like with Hamilton, at least I had
we've
been
both
into
seen
it
it like a
that like
lot.
thousands of times. Like so much. I saw it live on TV like so many times.
Yeah.
But we only watched this once and we're just kind of struggling. But it's okay.
Yeah, and then
um
doesn't it this is
happened?
eventually goes into they find Mimi, right? Like on like the street, like weak, like not like barely able to even respond. And
Yeah,
then
there was something like there was some stuff in between there, but I can't
yeah,
remember it.
that's fine. We can just
I
go
remember,
on to
yeah,
that. But yeah, and so
that,
then
yeah.
Roger, and then they find Roger, and she's like, "What happened?" And she's like, "Crazy weak, like barely able
hmm
to even do anything." And then she's like, he sings this like song to her that he's just like, "I've been
hmm
writing this for a year. It's not good, but I think he said like I
But
wrote
here
it
it
for
is.
you." Yeah. And then she's literally like dying, and when I think by the time he finishes, she does. Um,
Yeah,
but
for a
then
minute.
he's like crying over her, and then she's like.
She just like woke
And
up.
she's like, and the thing
Like,
is, it's crazy because she's like sweating, like
yeah,
crying, and it's like Renee, absolutely amazing job. I
uh-huh.
applaud you, like
I know.
20 out of 10.
A
Um,
20 out of 10.
but yeah, it was so, and that was obviously a really, really sad scene. And then it,
Yeah.
it was so funny. It's like I went somewhere, like there was a light, and she's like, I saw Angel, and then and
And
then
yeah.
and then she's like, she went, girl, you gotta turn around and listen to that boy's song,
Yeah.
which is I thought it was so fun, which is such like a nice like wholesome moment.
Yeah.
Which there isn't too many of, but it was like funny, but also just like so like happy moment too. How it's
Mhm.
just like Angel still lives on.
Yeah. Uh-huh. And then it's just again kind of like that whole like living life all you can
Yeah,
and stuff like that. And then I think they end up singing for this version at least. They end up singing Seasons of Love again, but with the
yeah.
whole crew and everything
And
like
then
that.
that's when they have like their bows, and it was the ending's great. It was
The
so
ending is so good.
yeah,
It
and
was
it's just
so
like I
good.
feel like it was the perfect way. I was like, oh my god, she's dying. Just the way that I was like, oh my god, she came back to life. But like the way that
I
she brought
know.
Angel into it somehow was
I
like how they did that was
know.
like perfect. Like they could not have done it any better
I
than
know.
how what they did. And it
It
just
was
like and
so
then
perfect.
yeah. And then
It
yeah, it
was
was a
phenomenal.
final, and then they had their bows, and then at the very like end, like they all come together, and then Angel comes running out there,
Oh
and it was
my
it
god.
was
It's like it was such an emotional show. Like it was good.
yes,
Um yeah, it was fantastic. Like it
yes.
was it was just
Highly
great all
every
around.
person was great. Every person did played their character perfectly and exactly
Yeah.
how their
Uh-huh.
character is. Um,
Yeah.
Really, absolutely recommend. I'm probably gonna watch it again soon.
Yeah, honestly, same. Because it was so long that like I like really need to have like a full like understanding of everything
Yes,
that happened.
definitely.
But it was really good. Ultimately, like even though I can't remember everything, it was still
It was
really
absolutely, I was blown
good.
away while watching it. It was like,
Hmm.
yeah, highly
Yes,
recommend Rent. I didn't know Rent was this good.
definitely. I know, same. I was thinking, oh, it's probably not that
Yeah,
great,
I
but
didn't
it
I didn't
was.
know Rent was so, I mean, it's amazing. I really recommend watching it.
Hmm.
Yeah, also it's
Yeah.
one that, like, even if you're not into theater that much, you'll probably really enjoy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like my parents really like it, and they're not huge like theater geeks
Yeah.
either. So,
And then
um,
it's like pretty, it's not childish at all. Like they get into some pretty like serious topics in
yeah.
it too.
Hmm.
Especially like the whole AIDS and like HIV thing.
Hmm.
That's one thing, and just like it's great. Highly
Yeah,
recommend.
it's fantastic. Um, yeah, it was 10 out of 10. Go watch it sometime. Um,
So yeah, do you have
actually,
anything else to add?
I don't think so, honestly. I might watch the original Broadway cast too, just to
Yeah.
see whatever happens, but
Mm-hmm.
it was just really good. Like
Yeah.
we keep saying that, but it's true.
Yeah.
Take our word for it. Go watch it. Don't
Go watch it.
like say you're gonna watch it and then not watch it. Like
Yes.
actually watch it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm Josh. Wait, we don't do that yet. Hold up. First, before
Check
I
out
say
our
that,
social
check out our
medias
social
first.
medias. What's our Instagram? Musical Chairs Podcast is our Instagram.
Yeah, there you go.
Podcast Chairs is our Twitter. You can also check out our Patreon, which we have polls for
Yes.
the musicals to choose, and then also we release our episodes. Oh, we release our episodes early there. What? Wait, hold up. Okay. Yeah,
There you go.
go do that. So yeah, I'm Joshua.
I'm Chloe.
And thank you for
And
watching Musical Chairs. Bye.
bye.